welcome, Eunice. It's a great opportunity and privilege for me to get a chance to meet you. For the viewers, my name is Glen Lowry, and this is an OCAD University of Art London collaboration, what we're calling virtual studio visits for Art Toronto. And today the conversation is with Eunice Luk. Eunice, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, about your work, and about your current interests, an introduction?
Sure. Thank you for having me. I create paintings, sculptures, and printed matter. I make subjective recording of positive and negative spaces using a wide range of media and processes, transcending materiality into a personal language. My work draws inspiration from my surrounding and reflects on the sentiment of commonality across cultures and spaces. I also publish under the imprint Slow Editions and have collaborated with artists and musicians to realize artworks in the form of artist books and multiples.
Excellent. Well, that sounds great. I wanted to ask you a question about studios and this time of the COVID pandemic, but maybe as you think about the question I'm asking and answer it, you could share some examples of your work?
Sure.
That would be great. I always think about this as the moment in the coffee shop where you slide your laptop around so that I can have a sense of what you're working on, the new virtual studio visit in a coffee shop. Okay, well, maybe you can tell us what we're looking at, but think about the question that we discussed around studios, that we are calling these virtual studio visits, but that's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, because in the time of COVID, it's very hard for any of us to meet up face-to-face and to get in the same place. It's also recognition that art practice has changed dramatically, that some people are having trouble accessing their own studios, and the movement back and forth between home and a studio, or the site of making in a studio, is tricky. And I wondered if you'd talk a little bit about what studio means to you in this time.
Sure. So I spent the last 4 years participating in artist residencies around Japan. The most recently last summer at the Shigaraki Ceramic Cultural Center. My stay in Japan has informed my practice, particularly in the development of ceramics, because of the studio access to ceramic studios, as opposed to printmaking studios where I had in Toronto. So since returning to Toronto at the end of November 2019, I finally found a studio at the beginning of August 2020. I'm only getting used to working and firing here in Toronto, and I'm very grateful for the space, especially during this time. It has allowed me to spend many hours thinking and working fluidly after 10 months without a studio space.
Nice, and you've made the transition from prints to ceramics, fired objects.
Yes, so I'm quite flexible with it takes time for me to transition, but in Japan, I transition more of my practice to ceramics, especially being in a culture of ceramics and influenced by everything around me there.
True. And so what are you showing us here?
So this is my show at the Canada Embassy at I forgot. Prince Takamoto? No, I need to confirm the name there, but it was at the Embassy of Canada in Japan, and it was my solo show after my first residency at Shigaraki Ceramics Cultural Center. And I created these sculptures as well as ceramic slabs, inspired by being in the surroundings of a ceramic village, which really influenced my work since I had never spent so much time in nature living in the countryside.
Beautiful.
So the next slide, I guess, shows more of my practice from Toronto as well as Japan. At the beginning of my stay in Japan, I started creating bigger ceramic works. And the show at Banff showcased both, including print works from Toronto. So these are screen prints with new ceramic works from Japan as well as older ceramic works from Canada. Yes, and then more recently, I've been experimenting with different medium, including working with ceramic, but also other sculptural materials. And this is one of the example of that. It's kind of like a painting, but it's also sculptural and it's in a frame.
So this is a wall work?
This is a wall work.
Okay. And what materials are you working with?
It's like a sculptable plaster.
Okay. Very nice.
And watercolor. And then this is the most recent ceramic residency I've been on. This is the Shigaraki Ceramic Cultural Center. Every time I come here, I just feel I have access to do anything I want. So I really appreciate the time here and the flexibility to create in such a well-facilitated space. So I was able to make big sculptures and also small works. And yes, using local clays.
Okay, interesting. Beautiful color palette too.
Thank you. So these are some of the final works from the residency.
Mm-hmm.
Though most of the work I don't think are completed yet. So I'm taking this time now to finalize some of these works and make them finished pieces.
Okay, so you were traveling extensively until when did you get back to Toronto?
I got back to Toronto in November 2019. I moved here with my partner, and he's Japanese, so we're just starting our life here in Canada together again. Yeah.
Okay, but quite a change between traveling around and going from residency to residency to being locked into Toronto.
Yes, it's true. It's been more isolating than expected,
Mm-hmm.
but it's actually been rewarding too to have this opportunity to think slower and consider how fortunate we've been to have access to so many amazing things and places in our life up till now. But
Right.
yeah.
Well, and all of that work that you produced, now you can process how it fits together and what to do next. So, very good. Okay, I also wanted to ask you a question about the larger kind of socio-political context that we're working in. It seems that increasingly people are finding their work defined by the constraints of a COVID-19 pandemic, but also by the urgency of Black Lives Matter, Indigenous Lives Matter protests that are happening throughout the world. But in some ways, specific to this conversation, they're happening in relation to arts organizations, galleries, universities, and really requiring for a lot of people a deep rethinking of how to practice art, who's included, who's excluded, what the relationship is to social justice. And I'm curious how this political moment is informing some of the work you're making and the way that you're understanding your own practice.
Sure. So it's been a very powerful year for us, especially moving from Japan to Toronto. We've been able to participate in these protests amidst the pandemic. And as a person of color, I have experienced racism myself and have grown up well aware of its existence within systems around me. So through these months of collective learning and unlearning, I now feel more empowered than ever to stand against discrimination faced by Black and Indigenous, as well as marginalized and disenfranchised groups. In the past, I've always been shy to speak up, let alone for other people. So I admit this is not acceptable, and I must engage whenever my position can amplify the voices of Black and Indigenous people, as well as people of color. And as an artist, I will hold institutions accountable and speak up for those most impacted by structural racism. Only systems that work for everyone can benefit us all. So just being more transparent in our everyday life and also participating in dismantling systemic racism in small ways can lead to big changes. Even within our studio, prioritizing Black and Indigenous people of color as studio mates and demanding museums to invest in art by marginalized groups, or calling out museums or institutions when they're exploiting work from these marginalized groups, and always also asking for fair compensation. Because sometimes you just feel like you don't have the power, but just by speaking up or doing your part when you have the power, it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, I wondered if you'd talk about this, or even if there's a way of thinking about it in relation to, I forget the name of the press that you're part of, but the slow movement, and doing things more intentionally, more personally. Maybe, sorry, can you tell us again what the name of the?
So I run a press called Slow Editions.
Slow Editions, yes.
Yes.
And what do you publish in Slow Editions?
We publish artist books, zines, screen print editions, music editions, such as a series called Sound Journal, inviting different artists to participate in different formats that we release. And we also sometimes hold house shows in Tokyo, where we invite audience to come to our house and we have a musician play, which is kind of rare in Japan. But yeah, I intend to continue to work with these marginalized groups, as well as making their work seen outside of the normal context, trying to promote their work.
Yeah, I like that. Changing the context in which we experience things is critical, I think. Do you have more images to share with us?
Sure, it's more of what I've been working on, so I can share those right here. Since my move back to Toronto, I've been making more ceramic functional works, smaller works, mostly ceramic cups and stemwares.
Nice.
So I shape each one by hand, paint and glaze them individually. So some are shaped like flowers, and I distribute them online, like the rest of the Slow Edition things, and everyone has been very positive about them. So I'm very blessed to be to have like people sending me cups at their new homes and like becoming vessels. This is also what I've been doing lately, repairing, which I haven't had time in the past or didn't appreciate this as much.
Right.
But repairing friends and also my own work with
Interesting.
kintsugi. It's a urushi, which is Japanese lacquer. But it's actually really something really beautiful I learned last year from a few workshops I did in Japan, where everyone came together with broken things and they fixed it every time at the workshop, which was
That's
really,
amazing. What a great symbolic gesture to bring your broken things
it was
and show
very
them together.
comforting. Yeah, to actually repair it, not just throw it out.
Yeah, yeah. And aesthetics of repair. I like that.
So actually, I think a lot about my relationship to craft, since I consider myself as an artist working with clay. Only I'm not like a trained ceramist. So even though I've worked with clay for more than 22 years, I just feel every time I touch it, I just respond to it, not as necessarily making it do what I want it to do. But I'm very fond of the material, its strength, its ability to convey, and its personality. And for me, it can be a surface and also something that physically hold so much. So I find
Well,
ceramics potential to be functional work very powerful. And especially when now we're isolating at our homes, being able to share that with others is really special. And I make these wares with the same patience and sincerity as my sculptures. So I'm really happy and optimistic when others can also feel this way. Yeah.
nice. So this is a print.
So this is a digital print that I've been offering on Slow Editions since April of 2020. During the lockdown, at the beginning of the lockdown, one of my biggest worry is the food security and housing. And I learned that I can contribute by even very small means. Since I'm not incredibly financially stable, I just thought I would offer this as a digital download and to raise funds for the food banks of Canada for the COVID-19 response fund. And to my surprise, people were actually downloading it from around the world. And even small gestures can lead to small contribution on something that I have a strong feeling towards.
Oh, I like these a lot, and I like the way that you're framing it.
So yeah, they were printable downloads, and then I encourage people to write letters to their friends and family with them. And yeah, I think COVID-19 has led me to consider digital and value digital space more and realize its potential to connect us. Yeah, that's all the slides I have for.
Eunice, this is wonderful. Thank
you.
you for sharing these and for the way that you're talking about it. I really like this idea of repairing.
Thank you.
And the small, slow gestures that are necessary to make meaningful change.
Thank you.
I think that's really nice. Well, maybe we should say goodbye at this point and carry on the conversation somewhere else at some other time. Is there anything that you'd like to say or anything that I should have asked you about that I didn't?
I think it's been a wonderful time speaking with you, and thank you for your time to listen to all my ramblings, but thank
No,
you.
a true pleasure. All right, thank you, Eunice, and so long, and we will connect again soon.
Thank you. Stay safe, and I hope everyone stays safe as well.